Well, I must say that this was one of the visits that I was most looking forward to of the whole Nile cruise. After a journey of about 3 hours, we arrive at Abu Simbel. We are accompanied by our guide and two drivers, as they have to take turns driving. Also, on the way back, as we are going to stay to see the sound and lights show, and it will be already night, part of the way back a policeman will have to come with us. From what we have been told, this is a measure to prevent visitors from deciding to stay overnight in the desert. Along the way, all we can see is sand and sand. We stop halfway for a drink and continue to our destination. We are about 231 kilometers southwest of Aswan, on the shore of Lake Nasser. One of the great peculiarities of Aswan is its Great Dome, which was inaugurated in 1970, becoming one of the most important engineering works of the country and of the entire 20th century. It is located next to the first waterfall, about 20 kilometers from Aswan. Its purpose was to control the flood caused by the river for agricultural and industrial development, in addition to obtaining hydroelectric power. Unfortunately, its construction caused great environmental damage, as well as the flooding of many villages and archaeological heritage. That is why some temples, such as Abu Simbel or Philae, had to be displaced in their entirety. Long before the temples were built, this place was consecrated to Hathor. It is believed that for this reason Ramses II chose it to build his two great temples. In both temples, Ramses is recognized as a god among the gods, and the choice of a place that was already sacred will have only reinforced that impression among the population. The Temple of Abu Simbel is one of the most recognized and spectacular symbols of Egypt, which can be equated to the pyramids of Giza. The facade of the temple is 33 meters high by 38 meters wide and is guarded by four-seater statues of about 20 meters high, representing Ramses II. Near the feet of the Colossi are other statues that do not reach the height of the pharaoh's knees. They represent various members of the pharaoh family, such as his main wife Nefertari, the queen mother Tuya, her first two sons, and her first six daughters. The interior of the temple is divided into several rooms: sanctuary, offering room, small adjoining rooms, hypostyle hall, vestibule, and the solar temple. The hypostyle hall, 18 meters long and 16 meters wide, welcomes you with its 8 statues of Ramses II, almost 10 meters high, elevated to the rank of god, taking the form of Osiris, the god of the underworld, to indicate the imperishable nature of the pharaoh. The colossal statues along the wall on the left-hand side bear the white crown of Upper Egypt, and those on the right-hand side bear the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt. On the walls, you can see engravings depicting battle scenes in military campaigns during the reign of Ramses II in Libya, Syria, and Nubia. The ceiling of the hall is decorated with paintings depicting the goddess Nekhbet, with wings spread and royal texts. this room on the right side, we access 4 side chambers containing different engravings, and to the left of the room we access another chamber that leads to other 2 rooms. These rooms were used as auxiliary rooms of the temple to store objects and were never finished. Something that strikes me is how well everything has been maintained over time. There are many corners of the temple that still retain their original colors. It's amazing. Abu Simbel, whose name means the pure mountain, stands out for the archaeological wealth of the Egyptian empire and the eagerness to create a work of such magnitude. Its construction, by order of Ramses II, took 20 years, from 1284 BC to 1264 BC, and it was intended to impress the Nubian people and strengthen the influence of Egyptian religion in the region. It is dedicated to the worship of Ramses himself, as well as the great deities of ancient Egypt, Amun, Ra, and Ta. In this way, the pharaoh was placed as another divinity of the Egyptian pantheon. Of the 2 temples in Abu Simbel, the larger is a monument to himself, and the smaller is dedicated to his first wife and his favorite, Nefertari. Abu Simbel remained abandoned and hidden for centuries as a consequence of the continuous sandstorms in the desert. To prevent them from disappearing underwater when the Aswan Dam was built, the Abu Simbel temples were relocated between 1964 and 1968 on an artificial hill, built on nearby land above the level of the future Lake Nasser. This required the help of a multinational team of archaeologists, engineers, and heavy equipment operators working together under the banner of UNESCO and the support of international funds, around $40 million. As a result, the 2 temples were dismantled and rebuilt on a site 65 meters high and 200 meters farther from the river. For the help received, Egypt donated important treasures and temples to other countries, such as the Temple of the Boat in Madrid or the Temple of Tendur, which can be visited at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. We enter the vestibule or second hypostyle hall, where we find 4 columns with scenes of the king embraced by different divinities. Its walls are decorated with scenes of offerings and worship. The North Hall represents King Ramses II and Queen Nefertari, and opposite the sacred ship of Amun to lead them to the afterlife. From the vestibule, we can access the room of offerings through 3 doors aligned. From the central door, we face the sanctuary. This is one of the most special places in the temple. Here we see 4 statues carved in the rock representing the gods Amun, Ra, and Ta, along with Ramses II. The temple was built with such an orientation that during the days 21st of October and 21st of February, in an act of astronomical perfection, the sun's ray at dawn penetrate to the sanctuary at the back of the temple and illuminate 3 of the 4 seated statues, except the statue of the god Ta, the god related to darkness, which always remained in the shadows. It is said that these days could correspond to the king's birthday and coronation day. After the displacement of the temple, this solar phenomenon occurs 2 days later than the original date. Next to the sanctuary, we see 2 chapels that do not have any type of decoration or divine representation. At the top of the facade, although not very well appreciated, there is a row with 22 baboons celebrating the sunrise. We are heading to the so-called Minor Temple, which is the temple that Ramses II had built dedicated to his favorite wife, Nefertari, and to the goddess of love and beauty, Hathor. The facade of the temple has 6 10 meters high colossi, 4 representing Ramses II and 2 representing Queen Nefertari. The colossi are flanked by smaller statues of the sons and daughters of the pharaoh and the queen. A curious fact is that Ramses II had the statues of his wife Nefertari built the same size as his own. With this, he made clear the prestige of the queen, since normally the woman was represented on a much smaller scale than the pharaoh. It is also significant that this was the second time in the history of ancient Egypt that a ruler dedicated a temple to his wife. There is an inscription that was a dedication from the pharaoh to his wife that goes something like this: "A work belonging for all eternity to the great royal wife, Nefertari Merienmut, by whom the sun shines." The temple in its plan is a minimized representation of the Great Temple, a hypostyle hall, a vestibule with side rooms, and the sanctuary. The hypostyle hall is supported by 6 sculpted pillars, with capitals decorated with the head of the goddess Hathor, and decorated with reliefs of the goddess Hathor and Queen Nefertari. The walls of the temple are dedicated to images of Ramses and Nefertari making offerings to the gods, and to representations of the goddess Hathor. The decoration on the walls shows an offering of Ramses II to Amun-Ra, of a prisoner in the presence of the queen, and 4 scenes of offering to Anubis and Hathor, and to the queen Tudumut and Hathor. On the hypostyle, there are 3 doors leading to the vestibule, which gives access to the sanctuary. Here, we find on both sides some small chapels and auxiliary rooms that are also decorated with reliefs. These chapels were probably used to store objects for ritual and ceremonial purposes. On the walls, we can see the king worshipping the goddess Hathor. And finally, we reach the sanctuary that houses a statue of the goddess Hathor, protector of the pharaoh, as if emerging from the rock. The sanctuary is shaped like a niche. On the left wall, Ramses is represented lighting incense, and on the south wall, Nefertari in front of Hathor and Mut. The interior of the temple is beautifully decorated with reliefs and paintings made in great detail, showing scenes of daily life, ceremonial acts, and Egyptian divinities. The images are of both Nefertari and Ramses II, underlining the importance of both in worship and religious life. The temples have now closed to the public, and the vast majority have already left. As we are going to stay for the sound and light show, we will take advantage of the occasion and enjoy these views almost without people. I invite you to enjoy this sunset with me as we watch the sun go down behind the temple of Ramses II. Unfortunately, my camera does not shoot very well at night, but I didn't want to end this video without showing you some of the photos I took of the Sound and Light show. If you have a chance, I recommend you see it. It's really impressive. A piece of advice, take some warm clothes with you because it gets quite cold at night. And after the show, 3 hours back to our ship. I'm sure that this visit will remain in our memory forever.